I am now being joined by Mr. Raju Reddy. He's an advisor to Hitachi ITSC Global. He's a global entrepreneur, and he's also the co-chair of $1 Billion Babies. That is a program for Indian product startups. He is one of the Silicon Valley investors. Mr. Reddy, thank you so much for agreeing to come on to Bloomberg TV India. Your initial reactions really to this pitch that we've been hearing about and been seeing of the finance minister speaking to investors in the United States.
Sure, yeah. So he met quite a few of the Silicon Valley executives here yesterday, and at the Thai Silicon Valley and CII organized meeting. And I would say just being here itself is a good start, especially with the high technology, the startup ecosystem getting much stronger in India, and a lot of the connections that Silicon Valley has and the role Silicon Valley has played in the sort of growth of the startup ecosystem in India. And, we all, I must say, came away feeling pretty positive. He listens well, and he seems like a thoughtful man, and, and there were some specific issues on which he also sort of delved into and gave some sort of encouraging, signs of how the government is going about it.
Sure. Mr. Reddy, the assurances that we've heard about, the concerns have largely relayed in terms of consistency, in terms of having some kind of, tax regime that is not difficult. There's ease of doing business as well. What are some of those specific concerns that were addressed to him?
Yeah. So, from our standpoint, right, if you think about certainly there are a lot of needs, a lot of social needs in India, but probably the biggest of them all is really the need to create enough jobs each year. And to, jobs is the number one need. One of the important elements of that is you need to make, and that requires capital to create jobs. And from our standpoint, there are two aspects to attracting that capital. Number one, simplify the investment process. For instance, today, one of the investors actually talked about how a lot of the funds are set up in Mauritius, and why make it go through Mauritius? Why not give it the same incentives or whatever going through Mauritius? The path from San Francisco to Delhi is much shorter than going to Delhi via Mauritius. So that's simplifying the investment process, and then the other is simplifying the exit process. So both mergers and acquisitions, but also bankruptcy laws and things of that nature. Because, capital, investors require exits to recycle the capital. So it is imperative that we make this exit process easy. So, broadly speaking, I think our sort of inputs and the conversation was around these two aspects. So if we have to create adequate jobs in India, we have to make India the number one investment destination, and we have to simplify the exits to increase the velocity of capital flow.
Sure. Okay. Just really quickly, in terms of how you're perceiving this government, in terms of any sort of really game-changing measures that it could announce, to take startups in India to the next level, because you've been in the Silicon Valley for a long time. You've been observing how things have been moving in India. What do you think is that one real game-changing move that could really help startups in India itself?
Yeah. So again, for many, I think when the new government came into power, the biggest impediment, I think, to a lot of the investment, at least from overseas investors, has been the retroactive tax, right? And so that was brought up. That I guess we understand. Just because you have an intent politically, it may not be practical to implement some of those changes early on. But they have sort of at least clarified the retroactive tax, so that would have sent a very positive message. That the government is very serious about attracting investors, and I know that it's not being completely repealed. but that would have been one. And the other, I would say, is around capital gains. Why not remove all capital gains for, say, a period of 15 or 20 years? After all, capital gains accounts for less than 1% of the total taxes we collect in India. And today there are no capital gains for stock market, flow transactions. So why not do away with capital gains on startup investments, right? So that would be,
okay. Just because, Mr. Reddy, we're completely running out of time. I'm sorry, Mr. Reddy, we're completely running out of time. But very, very quickly, the $1 Billion Babies Initiative. How's that been going?
Oh, it's very encouraging, the early signs. I mean, we are running a pilot project. We have identified 4 companies, and we'll add probably a couple more to that. And all these companies, the CEOs have made quite a few trips here and in the process of relocating. So the early signs are very encouraging. We've been able to find some customers for them and connect them up with, very significant mentors here in Silicon Valley. We're quite excited about the, opportunities for that.
Sure.
Yeah, because they're fantastic entrepreneurs.
Well, that's really great to hear.
Yeah.